was kissing you with my eyes open, but you said keep them closed.
Hi guys, welcome ladies, gentlemen, Steve Buscemi. So there's this YouTube channel called Mike's Mike, and I love his videos. They're always super funny. He does a lot of videos, but the videos of his that I watch the most would probably be his ranking videos. He just has so many and they're so funny. I wanted to do one because I'm a copycat. But yeah, all credit to him. So I wanted to pick something that I could rank, but that I don't think anyone's passionate enough about to argue with me about. I'm going to be doing a ranking video about the villains of Barbie movies. Growing up, I loved Barbie movies. I know a lot of Barbie movies, and probably more about them than someone should. If you don't believe me, I can name all of the dancing princesses in Barbie 12 Dancing Princesses. And if you don't believe me, it's Ashlyn, Blair, Courtney, Delia, Adeline, Fallon, Genevieve, Hadley, Isla, Janessa, Kathleen, and Lacey. So I made like a tier list. Some Barbie villains aren't here because to a certain point I stopped watching Barbie movies because they weren't as good. And if you have a problem with that, I literally don't care. So here are the tier names. So the top tier is BDE, which obviously stands for Big Dick Energy. And then the second tier is Icons. The third is Basic. Fourth is Barely. And 5 is ew, but not regular ew. The Bratz like stan Twitter thing of Chloe going ew. Ew. So we have a bunch of villains here. We're just going to rank these ones accordingly. First villain we have up is Duchess Rowena from 12 Dancing Princesses. This villain, 100% a baddie. She was just so bad, and like for who? Like her body made no sense, and she looked old but also young. She managed to be 70 and also 20 at the same time because she had gray hair, but she looked younger than I do. But Duchess Rowena also had a cute ass like blue monkey. That was so adorable. I like the silver blue fit and the fact that she's like a duchess, like period. So because of this, I'm gonna put her in Big Dick Energy because where else can she really go? Next, we have Lydia from Barbie and the Diamond Castle. I just love her. Lydia, out of all of these, I'm just gonna say it, Lydia's probably my favorite. When I was little, for some reason, Lydia just did something to me. She wanted to be by herself doing her own instrument. She didn't like being in a trio. No, bitch. This was One Direction and she was Zayn. She wanted to be solo. And I respect that. Her fit also super bad. Her hair makes no sense. I don't know how it was up like that. But she was just hot as hell. She turned 2 of her friends into stone. The amount of pettiness that you need to do that. Oh, and she had like a little dragon buddy that was like stupid. Because of this, because she's who she is, I'm gonna put Lydia in Big Dick Energy right next to the Duchess. That's where she deserves to be. Next is Eden Starling, I think her name is, from the Christmas Carol. Now listen, this was like weird to me because when I was looking up like antagonists from Barbie movies, she came up, but never have I seen Christmas Carol and been like, Scrooge is the villain. So Eden Starling is basically like the Scrooge of this movie, which I guess makes her the villain, but I barely remember this movie. I feel like there are so many different versions of Christmas Carol. Yeah, so Eden Starling, not very iconic. She's kind of scary looking. Out of all of these villains, she's low-key, like, not bad at all. Like, compared to all of these villains, like, compared to the villains we just went over, Lydia, Duchess Rowena, like, she looks like Walmart. They look like, not even Gucci, they look like Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton. Vuitton? Vuitton? Vuitton?
So for that reason, this is serious. Barely or ew. I think she should go into barely. I think ew is saved for villains that I actually don't like. And it's not even that I don't like her, it's that she's barely even a villain. So next we have Philippe, who's the antagonist of Barbie Three Musketeers. Now the only thing saving this character for me is that he's played by Tim Curry. That's literally it. Philippe was genuinely just like mean. Like, I don't even remember Barbie Three Musketeers, but I'm so sure that there's a scene where he literally tries to kill them. He doesn't even have like the certain twang that an antagonist can have for us to be like, oh my god, they're funny, even though they're like killing people. That the villains have to have some flavor.
Where's the flavor? Where's the flavor in this?
But he was very one-dimensional, like light everyone on fire. And also, I don't really know what's going on with his facial hair, and that also just brings him way down. Because of that, I'm gonna have to put him in basic. Next we have Madame Carp from Princess and the Pauper. I thought I needed like more villains in my list, and while the main villain, which we'll get to later in The Princess and the Pauper, is on this list, I also decided to put Madame Carp because for some reason her being an asshole really stuck in my head while thinking back on this film. Madame Carp is just disgusting. As someone who likes to sing, when I was little, when she was mean, I was like, I'm going to kill this woman. I just think there's something about being the villain but not being good enough to be the main villain of a movie. Such a kitty cat move. Her hat is ridiculously big, so maybe she should go in barely, because she's like barely even a villain because she doesn't really like who's she fooling, you know? No one's feeling threatened by this woman who looks like the real life version of Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast. But no, she's going in barely because, as we've said, like, she's not even the main antagonist of the film. Like, you can't even do that, sis. Sucks to suck. So next we have Laverna from Barbie Fairytopia. For some reason, I don't remember the name, but I remember there's a part where maybe she takes on like another being, like she pretends to be one of the other fairies, and it looks like this. And for some reason, I remember this fairy more than the fairy that she actually is. But I still love Laverna. First of all, she has like, what are those, frog toads people like working for her as her minion, and they're like in love with her, and she's just unbothered by it because she's that bitch. She has people around her simping to the max for her, and she has a beauty mark, which is iconic. People with beauty marks that are the hottest, Laverna, then Marilyn Monroe, everyone else is after Laverna, is what I'm trying to say. Laverna also has like a really cute fit. She can fly, like that's nuts. I also like the thing that's on her head. It's hair, but like I like the style of it. There were so many Barbie Fairytopia movies that she was like reoccurring. I just don't think she has it. I think BDE are the villains that, you know, I remembered the most, and also the ones that, you know, it's in the name, big dick energy. I don't think Laverna has that, but I think Laverna is also iconic, so she deserves credit where credit is due, but she just doesn't have the BDE. However, we're gonna have to give it to her. She's gonna go into the icon section. Next, we have the villains from Barbie Swan Lake. So Barbie Swan Lake is my favorite Barbie movie personally. That and Barbie 12 Dancing Princesses, probably my top. But the thing is, for this specific villain, I've tied Rothbart and Odile. They deserve to be tied together, because while Odile is obviously less of a villain than Rothbart, I think the fact that Odile looks like that famous ice skater and her voice actor is Janice from Friends, I think that also raises it. Rothbart himself, when I was little, I was actually afraid of him. I didn't like it when his eyes got red and he had like that very strong looking fist. But I think that they're a good combo because he was absolutely horrifying, to me at least. He has a huge nose and that's scary. My dad has a huge nose, so I don't I get very taken aback by huge noses. So I look in the mirror and I start screaming. But Rothbart was scary and Odile had like the sense of humor. And I think that really complemented each other very well and made him like a good villain because it made you chuckle, but it also made you scared. I don't think it has BDE, however, because if Odile and Rothbart had the same like scariness and the same humor as the other counterpart did, then totally. But the fact that they had to have two villains, one that was like not even really kind of the villain of the story, she was just the annoying spoiled daughter, and a Rothbart was the scary one. I think if they could have found one character to do that, but I know that that's the Swan Lake like story. I mean, I don't even know the real Swan Lake story. I've just seen the Barbie version. But because of that, we're gonna put them in icons because they are icons. Like, what else can I say? This next villain, I absolutely despise. Her name's Queen Ariana, I think. Like, I don't like how her hair looks like that. She gives me Carlotta from Phantom of the Opera vibes. I think it's just the way she's built. But something really bothers me about her. I don't know why I hate Queen Ariana so much. I think it's because her villain song was crusty. Like, I literally had trouble remembering who this was. I was like, Barbie and the Island Princess had to have had a villain, right? I literally couldn't even remember. I think what bothered me most is that all of the songs in Barbie the Island Princess were such bops. Like, I will listen to Need to Know to this day, and I'm 17 years old, and her song is so rushed and crusty that, like, get out of here. I don't know, I just don't like her. She kind of looks like a used tampon. She also tricks mice or rats or whatever to do her dirty work. Just do it yourself, ho. All of these villains, like, pretty much, even though they have minions, they like do some shit themselves. She literally just gets rats to do it. I don't know why I hate her with such a vigor. I'm sorry. So we're gonna put her in ew. I think maybe she might be the only one to be there. Actually, maybe not. But she deserves to be there. So next we have Dame Devon, or as we're gonna call her, Damn Daniel. I don't know why I don't like her. She wasn't cute enough out of being a villain for me to remember her as much as I do the other villains. But like, this is a Barbie movie. I want people to be comically evil. Kind of dressed like Madame Morrible from Wicked. I don't know why the ones I don't like remind me so much of like Broadway characters. She also looks a lot like Barbie. I kind of like it when the villain looks, you know, like a totally different character. She looks like Barbie with maybe sharper eyebrows. So she's gonna go in the Barely. That's where she shall reside. Next we have Hannah from Barbie Mariposa. I'm gonna take a picture. I have a Barbie Mariposa poster on the door of my old bedroom, so I loved Barbie Mariposa. Also, I really like her fit. I like the whole purple look. Also like how out of all of these villains, she seemingly is the youngest one, like she probably is. And I kind of like that. I think like with all of these Barbie villains, it's very much like a middle-aged person, like old woman, old guy, like fighting Barbie. And the concept of this one being like a girl around her age, she's like cute. Like, that's iconic. So now I'm gonna put her, should I put her in basic or icons? Because I feel like the people in the icon section are too iconic, but I also like her way more than I like Philippe. We're gonna put her in basic. I think as a villain, she wasn't as good as the people who are in icons as a villain. But I think that she was like a basic villain, but to me, I think she was just like a cool character because she was a villain that wasn't like the other villains. But definitely I like her more than Philippe, but she's not as good as Icon, so she's kind of in the middle ground, but I guess she fits more with basic. Next we have Wenlock. Call me sexist. Actually, don't call me that. But I tend to find the girl villains better. I didn't really like Barbie the Pegasus movie that much. Like, it was a good movie, but compared to the other Barbie movies, Barbie Rapunzel, Barbie Swan Lake, Barbie and the Nutcracker, they put them to death, and they were around like the same time. And I think, you know, he definitely is a little scary looking. If I remember, I thought that he was scary, but I also was just like, ew, like when he went on the screen. So I'm probably gonna put him in ew, because while he was a good villain, unlike Queen Ariana, he's just nasty looking. Next we have Barbie as Rapunzel, and then we have Gothel. Now Gothel, I don't know why she scared me so much when I was little. Maybe because she was strict and old, and she reminded me of my mom. I don't know, something's like very evil looking about her, like her long ass face. And she also had like a slimy like little guy that would like be around her. I really liked her hat. Her hat was bad. But she's definitely like one of the scariest, and she was like iconic, you know? But Gothel was just that bitch, like horrifying. So we're gonna put her in icon. Icon, 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 con. So next we have the Mouse King from Barbie and the Nutcracker. He's also voiced by Tim Curry, so that really helps him. But he's also, I think, the only one out of here, yeah, he's the only one out of here that's not human. I mean, some of them are fairies and mermaids, but he's like genuinely a mouse. Here's the thing, Barbie and the Nutcracker, so iconic. My sister loves that movie. I watched that probably, other than the Swan Lake and the 12 Dancing Princesses one, probably the most. But the Mouse King like wasn't scary to me. I think it was because he was like ugly. As we've established, it's really important to me that the villains are cute. So he was like kind of scary, but he's a king, so he had a lot of people doing his work for him. And again, I don't really like it. I'm like more okay with people of like the villains having minions if they're like still the top dog. And so we're gonna put him in basic. It's an iconic movie, but for other reasons, I think that he's like, you know, he's not the reason that this movie is iconic. Next we have Eris in Barbie and the Mermaid Tale. I really like her fit. For some reason she reminds me of like a lion. Like I really like the thing coming out of her head. As you can tell from this list, I'm not really a fan of some of the newer ones. Definitely the older ones have more of a special place in my heart. But I remember watching this movie when I was a little bit older, but still, you know, young enough where I could watch this and not look like a weirdo. And Queen Eris was low-key like cool. Like I liked her fit, I liked her voice. She did remind me a lot of Lydia, if I'm honest with you. She was also like nice at times until she wasn't nice. So we love like flip-flopping emotions. Reminds me a lot of me. Queen Eris is gonna go into icons, surprisingly. Next we have Premi. And you know, Preminger, we're gonna call him Premi. I follow the TikTok account where they make like sexy edits of Premi. Absolutely horrifying. Premi's just like funny to me because he's voiced by Martin Short. Martin Short is like one of my favorite people on this earth. I love him so much. Like, he genuinely is like so funny looking, and he gives me like vibes. Let's see if you get what I'm talking about. I don't know, he's just funny. He falls into a cake. But Premi also has the best Barbie Villains song, and if you argue with me on that, I will come to your house and pull up. It's just hilarious. So we're gonna put him into BDE. I'm kind of happy with my ranking. I think this is a good spot for all of these hosts to be in. I'm 17 years old. Let that sink in, because I just ranked Barbie Villains. So I hope you guys really liked the video. I hope you guys are safe, happy, and healthy. I post every week, so check out my video next week. I love you guys so much. Go home, watch Barbie movies. Don't go to a party, don't get drunk. Watch Barbie movies alone in your basement, because it gives you more character. Peace.
You like jazz?